Hello, everyone. Hello. You're welcome, Daniel. Good to have you on here this evening. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, without much ado, would let's just wait maybe for like 1 minute, and then we would kick off because we are far behind schedule already. It's 10 minutes into the time, so we'll start in a minute. Yeah. Okay, so we're starting right away. Uh, Thank you, Danielle, for joining in. I hope you're still here. So today, on starting your marriage rights academy, we'll be looking at the topic discussing health and medical uh, choices before marriage. So our topic is discussing health and medical choices before marriage. And my name is Ifeoluwapo uh, Aribisala, and I'll be facilitating this discussion this evening. So once again, I welcome everybody today. Uh, Thank you for joining in. Yeah, I trust it's going to be an impactful section. Yeah. So, like I mentioned earlier, we'll be looking at discussing health and medical choices before marriage. It's a very important aspect that is often overlooked. Generally, people don't talk about this aspect of marriage preparation. People don't explore it. They don't have discussions about it. They just bump into issues, where this area is concerned in marriage, and it brings about tension and issues and all that. So we are going to be exploring it this evening. And to start with, humans generally are tripartite in nature. That is, humans comprise of spirit, soul, and body. And so, for overall harmony, well being, and health, it is important to nurture all three aspects that humans comprises of. And so, the implication of this for couples is that for wholesome relationship, it is important to seek personal wholeness in all these aspects of uh, their personal lives. And so it's about bringing in your 100% into the relationship, not the 50-50, we were told previously. So it's about coming into the relationship in an empowered state, because generally, uh, uh, any wholesome relationship comprises of whole of the quality of the individuals in that particular relationship. So it's very important to seek wholeness all around, because this contributes in no small way to the health of the relationship, to how we are able to position for bliss in our relationship. So today we'll be focusing on choices around our body. We say humans are tripartite in nature, comprising of spirit, soul, and body. So we'll be looking at the physical, and we'll be looking at choices around bodily health. And so I may just touch on briefly on mental health also. Yeah. And so what's the function of our body? Our body allows individuals to interact with the physical world, and it is responsible for sensory experiences, movements, and basic biological functions necessary for survival. So it is of high importance to cater for the health of our bodies. And so to do marriage well, we need healthy bodies. To even be present here, we need healthy bodies. We need our bodies to be in a good state. Thank you very much, Muturayo. Yeah. So to explore this appropriately, we'll be looking at it from two angles: your health and your partner's health. So regarding your health, it's of high importance to be self-aware in all areas, and in our health also, the health of our body inclusive. Generally people may explore, even when people attempt to go into rigorous programs in preparing for marriage, most times people exclude the health. And it's only when you are present in a healthy body that you can do marriage well and do marriage appropriately. Yeah. So it's of high importance to be self-aware. As we are in all aspects of life, it's important to be self-aware where the health of our body is concerned also. Yeah, there's this particular couple. So before they got married, they touched on discussions and just maybe just gisting randomly on one of those occasions. And the partner just mentioned briefly that he hasn't taken medication in a very long time. And from that discussion, what the other person took away from it was that this person was or had adopted the faith-based, approach to healing. Some people believe that they don't need to take medication, and based on their faith and their religious beliefs, they will get uh, well and be all right and all that. Or maybe they have not even taken in a long time based on this the faith approach. And so that was what the partner heard from this discussion and held on to. And so after marriage, she was expecting, you know, the partner to be healthy and, vibrant and all that. But she just noticed that from time to time, this person will break down really sick and all that. And, a lot of times she's just clueless on how to help him, how to support him, based on the fact that she felt that he had adopted a faith-based and wasn't going to take medications. So after some time, it got to a point that uh, at a particular point, the partner was really sick and it was so scary. And so she needed to go by way of what she was used to. She also believed in the faith based, but at the same time, she also uses the conventional medication. So she decided to go through that approach because he was so sick and she was just helpless. She was, emotionally drained because and worked up because she couldn't help. She doesn't know how best to help him, how best to support him in that situation. So she decided to go the way that she was familiar with and got tablets and all that. It was malaria at that particular point in time. Malaria is prevalent in West Africa. So a lot of times people just kind of self-medicate. So she tried getting that for him. And it was at that point that she discovered that it wasn't really faith-based approach that this person was using, but rather the person never liked medications because he was angry with her. He never liked medications, he never liked injection, and it was just a kind of avoidance approach, not necessarily adopting faith from her own perspective. At this point, she felt uh, slightly deceived, you know, even though it could have been an assumption initially. And it may also have been that the partner lacked awareness also regarding his medical management. He never took time to understand his medical uh, patterns and history, and so lacked awareness regarding his medical management, and as such could not communicate correctly, thereby misleading uh, the partner. And so this caused her a lot of emotional stress in the process, as well as punctured holes, in our trust of him. So it is important to note as couples that it is of high importance that you know yourself, know thyself. What is your health history individually now? Do you have any medical condition? Any known medical condition? If yes, what is it? What are the triggers? What can trigger this? If it's allergy, what can trigger it? You know, various things trigger allergy for people. Some, it could be extreme temperature, some pollen, all manner of stuff, dust and things like that. So, is there anything you react to particularly, be it food, be it medications, be it whatever? It could even be fabrics, you know. So if there is, how then do you manage it? If you have any medical condition known, how do you manage it? If you have known allergies, how do you manage it? What are the do's and don'ts for you? That, okay, once you do this thing, it triggers it. And so to prevent it, this health condition, you need to avoid doing so, and so. What medications do you use? How often do you use it? What is it preventive? Is it, administered once the condition is triggered? How do you and how should you use it? What action is required to reinstate you, when you break down, especially maybe in instances of epilepsy, asthma, you know, maybe you need someone else to help you administer your inhaler. It's not everybody that knows how to and the right dosage. Are you aware of the dosage that you're supposed to use? What do you react to? What are your beliefs around taking medication? And so if you do not even have any known medical condition, what can break you down health-wise? How do you manage yourself whenever you break down health-wise or you fall sick? And so when you recover, how do you prevent breaking down again? How do you manage stress as well? So these are things that are very important to take note of where your health is concerned, on an individual basis. And what this does for you is that it empowers you as you know what to do regarding your health and well-being to be in a good state and condition, health-wise, bodily, most times. It also minimizes the risk of medical error in medication administration, as you will be able to get the right support if you have this thorough understanding and knowledge about your health management. Some people have been given medications that they react to, and it has led to adverse medical conditions and even extreme, situations involving loss of life for some people. So these are very, very important. And then thirdly, also, knowing this also helps you to be able to communicate it rightly to whoever wants to support you, especially your partner. If you don't know it, you cannot even communicate it, not to talk of another person now being able to support you appropriately, in serious situations of medical condition. So it's important to know is what you know that you'll be able to communicate effectively for another person to understand. So if you don't even understand your um, health management, there's no how you can be able to communicate it for another person to be able to support you appropriately. And so it can lead to stress for your partner also if care is not taken. So couples should take note that, like the story I shared earlier, it's important to not make assumptions regarding your partner's medical history and health choices. Clarify appropriately, ask the right questions. The first place to start from is to know yours and understand yourself and be able to communicate it. Then you need to also understand your partners. Ask the right questions if they are not speaking about it. And so, even if both of you do not know at the moment, it's still not too late. You can reflect on past experiences where your health is concerned to establish patterns. You know, you can also go for comprehensive medical examination. So, reflecting will make you, oh, so this was why I felt ill, at one particular point in time because I ate this, because I did this, and it has happened, over and over. And so when you reflect, you're able to understand patterns and why, you have breakdowns in your health. There are some, it's also been said in West Africa, where I come from, that, people of some particular blood types, they are prone to genotype rather, they are prone to a particular type of disease more than others. So there are lots of stuffs that can be underlying and can make an individual disposed to a particular ailment or the other. So it is important to know that being able to communicate your medical history and choices clearly and appropriately to your partner. That's another thing to take note of. It is of high importance to be able to communicate it clearly, you know, your medical history, your health choices. It's very, very important to be able to communicate it clearly. And then it is of high importance also to know your partner's health status, medical history, and health choices to be able to help them in emergency situations or when there's a breakdown for any medical condition. So, not discussing this usually leads to breakdown of trust and even breakdown of the relationship in some situations. We've had some people not disclosing their health condition, you know, before getting married. And so eventually the partner discovers and it causes them a lot of stress emotionally. And, you know, it punctures hole in their trust of their partner and leads to breakdown in their relationship as well. For some people, in extreme cases, it leads to breakdown in their relationship, especially there are times it may be terminal and all that. But we've seen situations where people actually opened up and it further strengthened the bond between them, you know. Not disclosing, not discussing this thing is more like deception at times, because the other person, a choice is forced on this other person without their consent, and it's not always palatable. So why is it then important? uh why is health and medical choices important to uh a couple's life together. Why is it important to have discussions around this between couples? Having discussions around their health and medical choices, it builds trust and transparency between couples. Open discussions about health conditions and medical preferences build transparency. It builds trust. You know, knowing each other's status, health status, can prevent surprises and misunderstandings in the future. And this can further contribute to their trust quotient of each other and help them to build a strong foundation for their future together. Example is if a partner has a chronic illness like diabetes, discussing it allows the other partner to understand and support them better, especially maybe where it has to do with some dietary choices to manage this condition. Because a lot of times, uh, the diet is very, very important to managing some ailments. So it's of high importance for the partner to have a clear of understanding of what to do and what not to do, what to cook, what not to cook, and all that. What medications to give, what medications not to administer. Uh, Having discussions around health and medical choices also allows for preparedness and planning for potential challenges in situations of known conditions. So when there are known medical conditions, partners can plan, you know, maybe set aside funds uh, for medical needs and emergencies as it comes up. And it also ensures that both partners are on the same page regarding the medical care uh, and financial planning for such medical conditions. Also, having these discussions, uh, he helps them in planning also for routine checks, you know, budgeting for routine checks. And for some, depending on what part of the world they are, it also helps them to talk about their health insurances, the health insurance policy, what they are going to do about it, whether they're going to combine it or keep it separate and stuffs like that. And also it helps them also to be prepared for emergencies, especially some, adverse medical conditions. They are well prepared for emergencies. Also, having the discussions around health and medical choices, uh, it helps them to understand each other's health needs and preferences. For instance, some people prefer natural treatments, as against using conventional medicine medications. Some prefer the faith-based approach that I said previously. They don't take any medication at all. So in such a situation where one partner prefers alternative medicine and another one trusts conventional medical treatment, they can discuss and agree on a balanced approach that respects both viewpoints. Or rather, the understanding of this also can, just reinforce each person's preferences such that, they ensure each person takes whatever they prefer whenever they have medical condition. And, there's nothing hidden, and they're able to support each other appropriately. Yeah, because they know what works for themselves and they are able to administer and support each other appropriately. Uh, Discussing health choices also help couples to explore conversations around reproductive health, especially couples who plan to have children. They're able to make informed decisions about family planning and all other stuffs, you know, agreeing on what method of contraceptive that works for them, or that they want to explore. Because there are some couples that on getting married at the initial period, they want to wait for some time. They don't want to have children until after some months, some years, and all that. So, having these kind of discussions around health also helps them to be able to explore their options, discussing it with their healthcare providers, and even maybe running tests to know what works for them. And, it helps them to prepare in that aspect also. Also, another thing around this is, you know, maybe things around prenatal and postnatal care, things they would love. There are some people that would prefer that their partners go with them for antenatal checkups and all that. These are just things that they can also touch on where health choices are concerned. So knowing each other's health uh, choices allows partners to provide the necessary emotional and practical support and understanding that is required. They are not caught unaware. They know what to do. They know how to do it. And so this further strengthens the bond and resilience between couples, because it comes with this person. If the person is able to give the required support as at when due, the other partner feels understood, feels cared for. So it further strengthens the bond and resilience between couples. Thus, supporting each other from an informed and understanding point can strengthen the bonds of couples. And for instance, adopting a healthier lifestyle together could be exercising, it could be, we used to have Fit Farm, you know, and all that. It can also breed common interest between couples, further strengthening uh, bonds between couples. So, what are the important health checks to carry out before marriage? The first one is genotype. Uh, Genotype, when we talk about genotype, we talk about things like people falling into blood genotypes such as AA, AS, SS, AC, SC. For some people, ordinarily, yeah, this alone is a deal breaker, especially people who are of the um, AS, SS genotype, you know, through exposure and maybe um, self awareness. At times, a lot have been uh, programmed to say, okay, if the first thing is, if this person is not AA, then is a no go area for me, you know. So, for some people, genotype is a major deal breaker based on their understanding of their own genotype and awareness of that, to know what genotype to marry and what genotype not to marry. The reason for this is that generally people of genotype of AA, sorry, AS, SS, AC, SC, when we have that combo, whether AS, SS, AA, sorry, AS combo or AS, SS combo, usually result in having children, with sickle cell anemia, sickle cell anemia. Yeah, so people are generally cancelled, especially people of AS, SS genotype, AC, SC are usually cancelled to go for people of AA genotype, as that reduces the probability of having children who have sickle cell uh, anemia. Yeah. So, an understanding of this can help couples with the decision of, should we go ahead with this relationship? Should we not? Especially for couples who are AS, SS or AS, AS. Yeah. So people of AA genotype usually don't have this kind of issues. Uh, and if they now decide they make the choice to go ahead with it, so the next question is, what are we willing to do to prevent having children with sickle cell anemia? Are we going to stay off having babies totally? Which route exactly? What exactly do we want to explore? So it leads them to further questions to make informed decisions. So it's very, very important to have this um, discussions. It's very important to have these health checks. I said the first one is genotype. The next one is blood group. And so we have the uh, A blood type, B, AB, and O. And so these are blood types and blood classifications. And it's based on the presence or absence of certain antigens on the surface of the red blood cell. And also, we have the resource factor. Uh, so blood group and resource factor, they come together usually. Resource factor is another antigen on the red blood cell, and it can be present or absent. When it's present, we refer to as positive resource factor. And then when it's absent, it's referred to as the negative resource factor. So when it's present, we have things like A positive, B positive. And when it's absent, we have things like A negative, uh, B negative. And the implication of this is that when partners with positive and negative come together in marriage without knowing, without having conducted the appropriate checks, it has serious implications for their babies and even their chances of having children. And this can put a lot of stress and strain on their relationship. You know, for instance, if the mom is positive and then the baby is negative because the husband is negative, the body would see that baby as a foreign object and try to do everything possible to eject it. Though this doesn't usually affect the first pregnancy, but for subsequent pregnancies, the body will treat the baby as a foreign object, a foreign body. And this can lead to abortion and a lot of other stuff. So having prior knowledge and understanding of this, you know, having carried out this health check can empower couples with the right preventive measure, as there's a specific injection for this taken at particular uh, points, to prevent uh, 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 as a preventive measure and for the safety of the baby. Another check is HIV status, hepatitis B, you know, um, poorly treated STD also can pose as issues, affecting fertility, even in marriage. So these are important uh, health checks to run before getting married. So here are a few examples of general health and lifestyle choices that people often make. uh, Lifestyle choices also influences our health and well-being. Yeah. So people make lifestyle choices such as for diet and nutrition. There are times one partner is vegetarian and another loves meat and all that. So how will they manage meals? These are the discussions they should have. How will they manage meals? How are they going to go about it? Are they willing to come to a midpoint, or they will cook separately? So these are discussions they need to have to avoid stress and strain. Also, exercises and fitness. Maybe partner A is fitness enthusiast and partner B prefers a sedentary lifestyle. So they need to find a balance, that will help them with their expectations when they get into marriage, so that they won't just assume that when I get married, this person is going to join me automatically. They need to have discussions around this also. Sleep patterns also is, it's part of a lifestyle. Some are early bed, some are night owl, and this means a lot for some people. How will you manage sleep schedules? I've listened to Tony Robbins before saying that he is a night owl, but the wife is an early bird. She sleeps early. So what he does is that they created a routine around her own sleep times, so that he goes to stay with her until she sleeps off. Then he gets back to whatever, you know he wants to do. And these are just little things that can go a long way to spice up relationships if discussed beforehand and managed very well. Yeah, so that didn't become a problem. They were able to find a way to make it, to empower their relationship even in their difference, for Tony Robbins. Yeah. So other discussions to have around health choices are family history. For families with, these are things people don't talk about, they're usually silent about. For families with history of diabetes or heart disease in the family, what precautions can you take, since it may be hereditary? What precautions can you take? How do you want to live, you know in a precautionary measure to avoid coming down with some of these um, ailments? Also, chronic diseases like asthma and so on. How can the partner better support each other during flare-ups? So it's by thorough understanding of the health management of your partner that one can be able to support, and it's through having discussions around all this. Yeah. So we'll also explore mental health briefly. So what are the likely discussions to have around mental health? So it's also good if couples can have discussions exploring their mental health histories. Maybe one partner has experienced anxiety, experienced depression. This, as insignificant as people take it, often it can impact their relationship one way or the other. And before you know what's happening, couples are drifting apart. So discussing support systems and options, it could be therapy and things that can prevent relapse, can help. It gives room for openness, for vulnerability. And so even if the other person does not know, and because you've had discussions around this before, and the other person sees that this person, is drifting up off, or showing signs of this kind of a condition, they are quickly able to um, nudge them and let them know, it looks like you are getting anxious, it looks like you're getting into depression and all that. And this goes a long way to strengthen their relationship also. Postpartum depression, this is another thing, that's another condition that is not often talked about, and we have a lot of women go through this without even their partners having the slightest idea. you know a lot of times you really can't even you may not know who has a tendency to go through it or not until the baby comes. So having an understanding that, oh, there's a tendency of this kind of things happening, can help the partner to position, to keep checking in and to ensure that everything is all right. Then also stress management. It's important to have discussions around stress management. What are And it also comes from understanding, what stresses uh, individuals in a relationship, coming into that awareness of what stresses you. Yeah. And so you're able to communicate it to your partner because it impacts on health also. You're able to communicate it to your partner and coping mechanisms for stress. So having discussions around this also helps a great deal. And so when the other person notices that, oh, this partner is going overboard, they can call them to order and just find a way to support them and all that, and to ease off the stress or to find time to relax. So open communication also, maybe just having routine check into each other's mental well-being. You never can tell what you would discover, and the other person is not even aware. They are breaking down, and then you're able to help them back on their feet. So it's important for couples to have open communication. So we're going to look at practical steps to begin the conversation. Since this is one aspect that generally couples and couples to be don't talk about, is important to schedule a dedicated time for this discussion. Aside even the health aspects, for in preparing for marriage, I would want to recommend that couples list out topics, explorative topics that covers all aspects of their lives together, and have scheduled discussions, at dedicated times, intentionally thorough, in-depth discussions around all this. Yeah. So approach the conversations with empathy and openness, not judgment. Yeah, it's of importance to the other person. It shows that you are understanding. It shows that you are accepting of them. Yeah, when you approach from the place of empathy and openness. And okay, so whatever it is that you come up with in the course of your discussion is important to document them so that you can always refer to it and check through it uh, later on, as this would come handy in the course of uh, the marriage. Yeah, so overall, it's of high importance to discuss health and medical choices in order to strengthen uh, couple relationship. It's also important to approach these conversations with care and mutual respect. In preparing for a future together, understanding of each other's needs and exploring how to navigate it, health needs now, and exploring how to navigate it together is of high importance. Yeah. So, do we have any questions? Any questions? Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, everyone. Do we have any questions? Any questions? Okay, Muturayo is saying here, I know someone who broke off a relationship because he heard that the girl's father had dementia. Yeah, these things are very, very, even though we don't often talk about it, but it goes a long way, to impact relationships. So how do you handle rejection cause of a medical condition? Should we also reveal family medical history? Well, in relationships, nothing stays hidden forever because you'll get married eventually, and these things will come to the fore. So it's very, very important to to discuss, to have thorough and in-depth discussions around it. How do you handle rejection cause of medical condition? Yeah, I think a broken relationship is better than than broken marriage, than having to go through pain in marriage. The person that has rejected the other, it means it's a deal breaker for this person. If this person decides to manage and go ahead with the relationship that way, he or she may unconsciously inflict pain on this person, you know, because they've not been able to get themselves to a position of understanding, of approaching it from the place of empathy. So for me, I think it's still better. At least you know this person stand. You know this person cannot tolerate this. This person cannot stand, is a deal breaker for them. So you don't want to undergo pain and, you know, suffering in their hands. So I feel it's still better. And managing it, you know, it's just um to manage, I would advise the person also to go for therapy to be able to get over this kind of situation. But a broken relationship is better than a broken marriage. A broken relationship is better than, you know, someone that cannot stand this kind of condition and then treats your family in an unkind way, you know. So it's still it's better for this person to go for anybody that has experienced this kind of a thing, it's better to go for therapy and seek healing. Yeah, it's a painful experience really, so it's better to seek healing and go for therapy. How do you handle rejection because of a medical condition? Should we also reveal our medical history? Yeah, so like I said earlier, everything will come to the fore eventually, you know. It cannot stay hidden because there will be a breakdown, and it's this partner that would have to be there for you to support. So whatever it is that was hidden before would definitely come to the fore. So it's better to reveal it and then know this person's know if they are willing to go all the way, because that is of high importance. If they are willing to go all the way genuinely, you know, from the point of understanding and empathy, it goes a long way to strengthen your relationship, and you know that you have a solid and a true and a genuine support, not one that is fake. So it's better to reveal it, to come clean, to come out clearly on whatever it is. Yeah. Any is there any other question? Do we have any more questions? All right. So on this note, we'll call it a day. Thank you very much, everyone. It's nice having you on here this evening. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye.